Well, first of all, before we kick off, I'm Rick Leave. I'm one of the founders of the Music Foundry based in London. We're a music consultancy. And I'm very pleased today to be sat here with my old friend and ex-work colleague and fellow Australian, Hazel Savage.
Hello, ex-colleague. Are you the reason why people keep writing that I'm Australian in the press? Because
probably, yeah.
I do not have the passport.
Yeah.
No, never got it.
You didn't?
No, I didn't go for it.
No.
So if you live in Australia for more than 5 years, you can apply for residency. Nah, just left. Thought, okay.
Yeah. No, I'm a fully paid Aussie, so I'm quite good.
Yeah, you got the passport.
So, Hazel Savage. What's all the fuss about? What's all the noise about Hazel Savage?
I love it. Alternative names for this talk were, who the fuck is she?
Yeah.
Why does everyone keep hiring Hazel?
Yeah.
Lots of potential names.
Everybody knows Hazel Savage. You're a bit like Marmite.
Yeah. True.
Or is it Vegemite?
True. I got that. Got that. There's an Aussie joke, unfortunately.
But listen, Hazel, first things first. Congratulations on the new gig.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, I thought, I retired in January, and I was retired for officially 30 days. And my plan was to just, eat well and go to the gym and just, look after my cat. And I had the best 30 days ever. And then I got offered the job to be the CEO of another startup, which would be insanely hard work and very long hours. And I just thought, I like that.
How are you feeling stepping into this gig?
Oh, I love it. I absolutely love it. I was going to try and be really sensible and be really measured and be I'm a CEO for hire. I'm not technically a founder. So, I should approach this really sensibly. And within a week, I was working Saturdays and calling the founder on a Sunday and hustling. And I was oh yeah, I love this shit.
Yeah, hustler's a good word for you, I think.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
And a bit of a disclaimer. Hazel and I used to work together years ago in Australia for Pandora Internet Radio. And we were literally in a room with no windows, and me and Hazel sending out T-shirts and headphones, and those are the days, weren't they?
Yeah, I was a regular at the post office.
You were?
Yeah, because it was my job to pack up all the Pandora T-shirts for the fans and mail them out, and so I'd be lumping a 20-kilogram mail bag once a week to the post office, and they'd roll their eyes and be like, not her again. And just, dropping them off.
Yeah.
The glamorous work.
We could talk about Pandora and the learnings of doing a startup with a big, huge backer in the US, but that's not what we're here to talk about today.
No, that was
good
fun,
though. But
though.
listen, I'm going to kick off. You've often described yourself as a bit of a wild card, and somebody that you bring in when change is really needed. So what does that look like now for you and 𝗧𝗵𝗲? What made you say yes to it?
Well, I'll take it even a step back further, to just when I was at SoundCloud, who I sold my company Musio to. And in the last year at SoundCloud, actually, when I handed my notice in at SoundCloud, and I did resign, I wasn't fired, which is unusual for me. And I actually...
She's not wrong.
She's not wrong. And I actually resigned, and so many people sent me messages and spoke to me and came to me, and the main message was, oh, we're really sad you're leaving, because you always tell it like it is.
Yes.
And I was like, why isn't everyone telling it? Who are telling it like it isn't?
Well,
how's that helping anyone?
I often refer to Hazel as Hazel, no one's going to die wondering what's on her mind, Savage.
Well, just because someone would be like, we should launch this product, and I'll be like, that's a terrible idea for this, and this reason. And so I suppose that does come across as quite direct. But for me, I just haven't got the time to waste on, bullshit and round the houses and words that don't mean anything. So yeah, I got, which is, for a British person to be called direct is also, I think that really threw the Americans off as well. They were like, we didn't think you Brits were quite so direct. And I was like, founder, it's different. So I did get a lot of comments on, but mostly people enjoyed it because I think some of the problem you can face from leadership is, and I think this is especially true of, no offense if there's any Americans in, of American leadership teams, is they will respond to a question and they'll talk for 10 minutes and at the end of it haven't actually said anything.
Talking about, getting fired or not getting fired, you have navigated a number of quite emotional, wrenching exits over the years.
You're being very polite, Rick.
I am being very polite.
I've been fired 3 times.
Yeah.
But also, I think interestingly, I'll say I've been fired 3 times, but I think if you were to like go into the HR records of all of those companies, I resigned.
Yeah.
And again, that's just like a very sort of legal grey area, isn't it? Because, you know, if they say we'll give you an absolute load of money if you actually resign, so we don't have to fire you, then, you know, you still technically you feel fired.
Yeah, when you have the door A, door B conversation.
Yeah. You feel fired.
Yeah. But what do you think? What have you learnt about yourself throughout these exits? Most people go away and fall over in a heap.
So not exits in the sort of acquisition term of the word. Exits as in being fired.
As in being taken to the door.
Please leave.
Yeah.
I think what I've learned, there's a couple of things, and I'm not going to say definitively I know the answer on this, but the sort of the through thread seems to be like I'm everyone's absolute favourite until I'm not.
Yeah.
And I'm everyone's like perfect hire golden child until I'm not.
Yeah.
And that's sort of manifested in several companies, and it'll be because I'll go and post out the t-shirts and I'll run a social media campaign. And I remember even at Pandora, I was really annoyed that we didn't have any like visual banners or anything like these California ones. So I just ordered them without permission, and I remember. And I was like, I'll just get it done. It's like 20 quid or whatever. I've got a Vistaprint voucher. And I was like, and if they don't like them, whatever, I'll pay the 20 quid myself. And the thing is, I do things like that, and everyone goes, that's really cool. Really glad we've got that. You just took the initiative. Absolutely love it. Until you do the one thing that people don't like. And the problem with innovators and people who are not waiting for permission is eventually they'll either do something that doesn't work or something that you don't agree with. And, you know, as much as other founders and other CEOs I've worked for, they say, we want innovation, we want people to fail fast. They don't really want those things at all.
Yeah, I kind of feel there's a real narrative about, you know, it's like, this is what I've learned from failing. And that's great, you know, but I think let's not glorify that, shall we?
Yeah,
we prefer more wins than fails, perhaps.
And, you know, even just, in my new job at 𝗧𝗵𝗲, I think I was telling this story last night, but I just like, I've been in the job about 5 months, and I just had my first bad day. Oh. And it was where, like, a partnership didn't work, and then someone else was really rude to me. And I was so excited to have a bad day that I rung the founder, and I was like, just letting you know, by the way, don't worry about me and whatever, I've just had my first bad day. And I was like, and I just remember it so well from Museo, like, and you can't have the good days without the bad days. And also just a reminder to myself as well that, like, not everything I do goes well. You know, so like I was trying to do this partnership, and the other person was just, I'm not going to name them, an absolute arsehole. And I just was like, do you know what? Don't worry about it. We won't partner. Move on. And I just thought, not every deal can be done. Not everyone is going to like you. Not everything is possible. And so, I can still have bad days. Just because I've built and sold a company once doesn't mean
everybody wants to be liked, though, right? So when someone doesn't like you, especially in the workplace, it can be a little bit jarring.
Yeah, I just I don't. It took me until like about the age of 27 to realize that, like, not everyone will like you. And I realized that because I was working at Universal at the time, and I was trying so hard with everyone, and I was just being so nice, like bend over backwards nice to everyone. And there was just a couple of people at that company who just fucking hated me. Right. And I was like, what have I ever done to these people? And I think it was only after I got fired from that job that I resigned, that I realized that as much as it wasn't really about me, it just doesn't matter. Like, you can be the best person in the world and someone will still dislike you. And so I come across people all the time now who don't like me, and I'm just like, whatever. Just like, really don't care now.
I think that's age and maturity, though, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a little bit of age. I'm just like, oh, yep, you don't like me, that's fine. Don't worry about it.
Has there ever been a time when you just thought, I'm not going to be able to make a comeback from this? Yeah,
I love this question. When I saw this question in your notes, I was like, this is my favourite question.
Do you mind? This is natural.
Yeah, sorry. No, but this is my favourite question. Because there was two things that I thought of, and because they come at it from a slightly different angle. So I was 27 when I got let go from Universal Music, and I'd only worked there for a year, and I'd moved to Australia to take that job. And my previous to that, I'd only worked at 𝗧𝗵𝗲, so it was only technically my second industry job.
Right.
And I think that was the time when I thought, oh, I think that's it. I think I'm done. Not because I wanted to be done, but I just didn't think it was so hard to get into the industry in the first place as someone who doesn't come from a music industry family or a music industry background or even a particularly wealthy background. And I just thought, I got in once, but now I've been kicked out. I just thought I was going to have to go back to working in bars. I thought I'm going to be back in hospitality.
Back up north.
But yeah, back in Darlow, back at the rugby club, pulling pints, strippers on a Wednesday. I thought that'll be what I'm up to. And I just didn't think I'd be able to get back in. And that was really upsetting and very scary at the time because I didn't know what that was going to look like.
I think you go to that place, though. You can go to a very dark place. But I think what you've got in spades is resilience, right?
Yeah.
So talk me through what that looks like for you.
Well, yeah, you still got to be resilient. But at the same time, when you're just kind of making it up as you go along, it is a little bit difficult to sort of not have that guidance. So actually, the job that I got immediately after I'd got fired from Universal was I probably had like a 1 or 2 month gap, and I got a job with the Australian Chamber Orchestra as a videographer. And honestly, I cringe so hard looking back on that now because I was like so damaged from the job at Universal where like it was most of these people have been fired in the sort of toxic workplace and Me Too movement. So I don't feel too bad talking about all these people that don't work there anymore. But it was, it was people would scream in your face, yell at you to get fucked. Like, that was so toxic. It was so political. And like, I had to work so hard. I was in there some nights till like 1 a.m. because I was doing videography. And when I interviewed at the Australian Chamber Orchestra, when they got to the interview had gone really well, and Rosie, who was my boss, got to the end and she went, so do you have any questions for us? And I genuinely went, yes, are we allowed to take a lunch? She was like, yeah, why wouldn't you be? And I went, oh no, just checking, checking. I was like a really like broken and damaged person from that experience. Like, to even ask that question, I look back now and I cringe because I'm like, Jesus, of course you can take a lunch. Don't even ask. And even if you can't, don't ask. What a stupid question. But I was just so like broken down by the bad treatment that I was just like, my expectations of what work should look like were way off. Way off.
Well, I mean, that's just a toxic, work environment, and it's, damaging. And of course, we don't really operate in that world anymore, hopefully, because we're very good at shining the light on things. Just shifting the conversation slightly, when you look at like the arc of your career, of where you've come from and what you've done, who are the people that have really helped to? Who do you look up to? Who do you hold the mirror up to?
The people I look up to.
Is there one person or two in particular?
I think there's probably multiple people, and because and almost like if I'm creating almost like the perfect mentor out of multiple other people that I've worked for. So like I had my two bosses at 𝗧𝗵𝗲, Alan, who was like the head of content, and then Will Mills, who was the head of music. Like, they were both fantastic. Like, Alan from a like a work life, see you day in, day out at the office. He was fantastic. Will from a kind of an aspirational, here's what can be done in music. And, I'm still friends with both of them today. And Will was an advisor at 𝘧𝗫𝘭, which was great. And then, there's other people as well that, like, even if, our mutual friend, Jane Huxley.
The Hux?
The Hux. Like, do you know what? Like, she taught me a lot in that she was the first person to ever give me feedback that didn't upset me. And I was like, that's a frickin' skill. And and not only that, her feedback was about the way I dressed. So imagine how difficult that is to give someone as feedback. But the way she did it, it was basically like, she's like, I was only in my early 20s again at the time. Or, no, late 20s I'd have been. Late 20s, early 30s.
It was, because we had your 30th.
Oh, because you came to my 30th. So I'd have been 29, 30, 31. And basically she was like, the short version, I would be very direct these days, is dress for the job you want. Like, metal T-shirts and ripped jeans, and not cutting it in the boardrooms of the music companies. That was the essential message. It wasn't that, I don't think I looked too shit, but I looked like, a young rocker as opposed to somebody who works in the music industry.
And the thing about Jane is she would sit you down, and she used to do the same to me, and she'd go, Ricky, there are 3 things that you need to know? And you'd be like, 3, why can't there be just one?
Yeah.
But there would always be like really measured, great feedback. That
Yeah.
and you left the room feeling amazing.
Yeah.
Even though she might have said like, you have just been really quite shit at what you've just done.
Well, so yeah, this was how phenomenal she was at feedback. She managed to convince me and like that I needed to change the way that I dressed, and I was happy to do it. And I left that meeting thinking she's got a point, as opposed to like leaving that meeting feeling like absolute shit, which is how most bosses give feedback.
You've worked with lots of different teams over the years. If you just put to one side like strategy and, you know, commercials, what do you think it takes? What is a good team for you? Because I know loads of people that have worked for you and they're prepared to lay down and die for you. So talk me through that.
I'm going to go with my like slightly jokey answer first, which is left-handed people.
Yeah. Ah.
And I say that because at 𝘧𝗍𝘂,
More creative.
at 𝘧𝗍𝘂, our sales team was 4 people, and we were all left-handed, which is weird. And then also at BandLab, where I'd worked before, I had a team of 20, and 10 were left-handed. And like, so 50% of the world's population is not left-handed. So, how many left-handed people are in the room?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Oh, we are a significant... Yeah, let's work together.
You got the job.
But yeah, so statistically we're unusual, right? There's only 2 of us in this room. I think that's actually a lower percentage than exists. So for me to, I've for some reason got a history of hiring almost entirely or entirely left-handed teams, and I'm like, what am I doing subconsciously? Like, you know, when I meet them, it's like, did they? Which way did they?
Unconscious bias.
Yeah, I've got the unconscious bias for left-handed people. So I need to work on my diversity.
If there was one person that you could call, there was one person that you could call to say thank you for getting me where I am today, who would it be? And it doesn't need to be me. I was just a short stint. It's going to be me.
Yeah, it's my parents, to be fair.
Yeah.
And it's and that's because work is still work.
Yeah.
Like, work isn't life. Like, work's fun, and I love that we all work in the music industry, and that is more fun than other industries. But like, where I get the directness, the don't give a fuckness, you know, is just from having 2 parents that brought me up. They're still together, they're both still alive, and their whole thing was just like, I think I even posted this on socials the other day, like my mum's catchphrase when I was younger, and I am from the north of England, I appreciate this sounds absolutely mad, my mum would be like, you could be a murderer and I'd still love you. And I was like, thanks, Mum. Not a murderer.
Yeah.
But just like, I think what she was trying to say is, I love you so much, there's nothing you could do that would ever make me love you
And I've met 𝗲𝗏.
Yeah.
She's an awesome woman.
Yeah, but I was just like, what a truly weird thing to say. And I haven't done a LinkedIn post about it because I don't think it's going to resonate with a lot of other people. And also it just makes people think I might be a murderer. So I'm not going to start that. But just I just have these incredible parents. And, you know, I even worked for a guy in Singapore who didn't have incredible parents, and just our approaches to life and the things that we expected were just so different, because I was just like, no, it's all about doing your best, and it's all about just caring for people and just knowing that I've got that amount of support no matter what I want to do is what's allowed me to do what I do.
Well, listen, childhood trauma, that's another session we're doing next week.
Yeah.
But listen, talking of leadership, or moving on to leadership, so you're in this new gig, CEO. You got the big old CEO title. What does courageous leadership look like to you today, beyond having a bad day?
In a company the size of Synth, though, because there's like literally only 5 of us, courageous leadership to me just means like doing all the shit jobs, doing all the stuff that, like, there's nothing I ever ask someone to do who works for me that I wouldn't do myself. And I usually prove that by doing it myself first. So we've started offering these like live feedback sessions where every Wednesday at 6 p.m. GMT, our users can log in and we play their tracks, and there's a tutor online and he'll give like real-time feedback about the mix, about different sounds. And basically, if I dial into those every week that I'm available, and on the weeks where our sort of marketing team can't, I'll go in and I'll MC it, right? And it's like, I'm not too good or too big to, you know, hang out with 20 brand new music production engineers.
How many people are at Synth, though?
Oh, there's 5 of us.
Right, in total.
Yeah, we're
Okay.
a really small team. And then there's some freelancers as well, but five full-time. And so for me, courageous leadership is just, you have to do all the jobs.
Yeah. Well, you've got no choice when there's 5 of you.
Yeah, that is true.
But we did all the jobs at Pandora.
Exactly, yeah.
You know.
Mostly the post office.
Oh, you did more than...
Yeah.
Hazel was far more than post office. She was our social media, PR, marketing.
I was quite passionate about the post office work.
Yeah, no, I think, and you are indeed. Moving on to my next question. What's the one belief system or value that you just won't compromise on in this new gig, given everything that you've learnt?
Oh, I did think about this one. I think I'm being recorded. But I basically, before I took this job, I just had to have a really intense conversation with the founder about, I was a little bit worried about, like, I find that the electronic music industry can be quite problematic in its approach to women and its approach to sort of essentially non-white men. And I was just like, I had a coffee with the founder and I was just like, I am not taking this job if I ever have to apologize in the press for you. And he isn't that person.
Yeah.
And I really kicked the tires on that because it feels like there are quite a few problematic artists, not just in electronic music, globally. And I don't want to work with people like that. So that is the one compromise that I won't be making.
Yeah. I had no idea that it was that bad.
Well, and there's some scary stats as well, and I don't quote me on this, but like there's a high level of like deaths in the DJ world as well because of the lifestyle. Yeah. So there's that part of it, but also the just when you get a lot of very, very young people and a lot of drinking and drug taking and festivals and stuff, then you're going to see the kind of crimes associated with that lifestyle, and I don't want any part of that myself personally at the events, but also I don't want anyone that works for us to be involved in that lifestyle.
So you're sort of like setting the tone culturally.
Yeah.
And what does that look like then? What is the culture?
It looks like me going, I'm the boss. This is how we're going to behave.
And
I don't want to... Sorry, I just thought of a really fun example about it. So they've all had the law laid down. They're all these young guys, and they all DJ. And we've got this lovely guy called Alex. He's from the Northeast, and he couldn't stop apologising last week. We did a day working together, and everyone knows how strongly I feel about diversity and women's rights. And he accidentally referred to an iced matcha as a feminine drink. And he was just like, oh, God, I can't believe I said that. I said it was a feminine drink. He went, don't report me to HR. And I was like,
well, you are HR, right?
I am.
That's
HR
one of your hats.
as well, yeah. So I was like, I think we could let that one go. I'm okay with you referring to matcha as a feminine drink, but
If we spoke again in another 12 months, what do you want to be proud of? What's the plan?
Hitting a 1 million ARR in revenue.
Nice.
Which I think is...
Are we on the road?
Yeah, probably.
You know that we love a plan and we love a number.
We love a number.
We love a hockey
plan.
stick.
We love a hockey stick. And that's probably very realistic, to be fair.
Good.
And so I want to hit that ARR. I want to hit a certain number of full-time hires because there's a lot of outsourced and freelance work.
Yeah.
I want to bring a lot of that in-house, looking for left-handed people, if anyone knows. I'm kidding. And also may or may not do a fundraise.
Right.
So we'll see.
Okay. Just moving back now to the music tech landscape. We're in a world that's obsessed with, speed and innovation. What do you think we're rushing past at the moment, given that everything that's happening now is like the fastest in any generation? And I mean, personally, I've lived and operated and worked through so many changes where, you've got to be understanding and knowledgeable about the next emerging, wave of technology, and you've got to have to be, and now we've got AI.
Yeah. I think...
what are we missing?
Well, I think something that's sort of distilling or coming together in my mind is, and not necessarily what we're missing, but I always find that it's really interesting to know, like, what are the investors and the finance people doing? Because they're sort of looking ahead. And I even, I got to be on a panel with Oliver, who's the founder of Speed Invest, so £120 million fund. And he was like, we're already looking at the next thing. We're not looking at not really looking at much AI anymore. And actually, even though I'm not fundraising for 𝗧𝗵𝗲, we have had 2 approaches from VCs who've come to me and said, let me know if you are fundraising. And what those people are interested in specifically, because 𝗧𝗵𝗲 is a video platform for education, is they're interested in investing in things that aren't replicable with AI. And I was just having a chat with Christian from Master Channel about this up in the cafe, because I'm an investor as well in Christian's company, and I'm a huge fan of AI, and I built and sold an AI company. So I am a big believer in the technology, but I believe there's a second wave coming in that the investors are talking about, but maybe we're not so much right here, which is what are the things that can't be replicated. And that the reason why people will pay a £400 a year subscription to 𝗧𝗵𝗲 is because you get to watch a video of Josh Baker telling you how to make his latest track. And you can't replicate
very authentically
that.
Tell you.
Very authentically, with a very strong Manchester accent.
Aye.
So that can't be replicated, and the more hands-on they are, and the more realistic something is, it's like, and I think Amelie from BPI gave me another great example. She said, why do I pay $300 a month to go to the gym as opposed to just watch free videos on YouTube of how to do it? Because I want the trainer, and I want the in-person, and I want the real version.
The flavour.
So that's, I think, where the investment's going to land. And I don't think we'll speed past it because we'll follow the money. But I do feel like, and as I say, this isn't me being anti-AI because, I still love it. But I do think that there's also going to be a bit of anything that can be replicated with AI will be, and then there'll become a big premium on things that can't.
I mean, talking to VC, this is not one of the questions. But, VC, PE, cash, I mean, you've got to be careful what you wish for. Are you going to go down that route?
Well, yeah, good point. Because I had investors at Museo, and having investors is super stressful for the most part. Because I had some investors that were super chill, super lovely, had some that were super demanding. Those things did not correlate to how much money these people had put in. So that's something I've learned. You take 10 grand off someone, and they just are the bane of your life, and then someone else drops in $1 million, and then they're no hassle at all. So it's a very unusual business. And it's a big step. Like if we do decide to go down that fundraising route with 𝗧𝗵𝗲, becomes a very different game, right? I'm now not just the CEO for hire who has a little phone call with Josh, the founder, and we figure out what we want to do. I will have people I'm responsible to that I've taken a lot of money from. It's a big commitment.
I mean, for sure. Is there anything that you feel the music industry at the moment isn't talking about?
I saw this question and I had an answer, and now I can't remember. What is the music industry not talking about?
We can skip to the next question if you want.
Yeah, maybe it'll come back to me. I mean, probably loads.
I mean, well, I'll just put it another way then. What's the question that you wish people in the industry would stop asking, and the questions that we need to be asking? Where do we need to be looking at the moment?
I remember now what my thought was for this one. It's around, I think the music industry gets really hung up on technology and startups that the tech can do something, but there's absolutely no proven traction. And I have this conversation writ large with a lot of other founders and investors. I know that Suno and Udio is kind of the biggest news story at the minute because of the, data sets trained on music that they have not paid to license. And so everyone's so hung up, and I agree on go on, say it, Rick.
We play.
We pay.
We pay.
There you go, double act. So everyone's really focused on that, but nobody's focused on what I think is probably more interesting, which is anyone going to use this? Because if someone was to ask me, the only person I know that uses one of those platforms on a regular basis is there's a boys chat that my brother's in, and there's 5 of them, and they all went to school together, and instead of sending messages to each other, they send silly little made-up songs as a way to send the message. So the lyrics will be whatever we're meeting at the pub at 7 on a Tuesday, and that'll be the song. And I was like, I don't know that's a very I don't know if that's a robust enough use case that I'd put 100 million into that business.
I'll be writing the check right now.
I just think we're so caught up with the licensing, and I'm not saying that's I do think data sets should be legally paid for, but I think it's skipping over the whole issue of like, where's the traction?
Yeah.
So I feel like that's the question not being asked. I know some startup founders are asking it, but I feel like the majors have missed a trick. And I think even, and I apologise, I forget which one it was, Suno or Udio, has acquired a web door, a new company. And I'm like, yeah, because they're probably seeing the same thing internally, which is if we don't appeal to people in a more creative way to actually build music, is there actually any traction? Yeah. So I think that's really interesting.
Yeah. I think that, look, you know, we're operating in a world where everything's changing at the rate of knots. You know, the big topics of conversation at the moment are around AI and the use of content and fair use. You know, and I think anyone that knows me in this room, and I've been mentoring for the last couple of days, you know, I'm a big advocate. You know, if you use the content, if you train on the content, if you scrape the content and you're making money off the back of it, then you pay the piper.
And my take as well, when I built Museo, is we legally acquired our data sets and trained on music that we'd done specific deals to use for training. And my whole point was just like, especially in Singapore, probably could have got away without doing it. But I was just like, I really don't want to be at that point where I'm trying to exit or sell this company and it's suddenly not worth anything. You know, so I was trying to think long term. Like,
you miss the Museo days?
Oh yeah, definitely.
That was a great team of people.
Yeah, it was good fun. It was really good fun. And we're doing a little reunion drinks in London.
Lovely.
Coming up soon. And and I'm still in touch with them. I've got a group chat with the sales team. It's mostly just memes, I'll be honest. Send each other. Like, there's so many memes on Instagram where somebody will be like spoofing something about terrible work culture, and we'll just send it to each other.
Nice.
There's just so many. There's so many good.
Very professional.
Very professional. Yeah, don't put it in writing, guys.
Yeah.
That's another tip.
I mean, another question, which is not in here, but, you know, like we talk about you and your journey and, you know, everyone knows who you are and your, you know, the journey. But also, you know, you do a lot of work around, you know, mentoring people. You've always got time to chat to people. And you've always got like a little bucket of cash that you're investing in. I mean, how's that all going?
Yeah, good.
Are you still investing?
Less about the bucket of cash.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying that because this guy here needs some.
Yeah, no. To be fair, it depends.
You're the nearest shop.
It depends who asks, and it depends what they're asking for.
Yeah.
I've pulled back from the investing slightly, just purely because being the CEO of 𝗧𝗵𝗲 is all consuming. That I don't have the time to dedicate, but also. And this is not super interesting to the music industry, but I've also started a local syndicate of investors in the city I live in. Right. So we're called Leeds Angels. And so I pretty much funnel...
Did you start that?
Yeah, me and 3 other guys. So it turns out there's like loads of exited founders in Leeds.
Wow.
Obviously not in music, obviously. I'm the only music one. But, and then like there's a lot of other people like Mark Roberts, who's our chairman. He built and sold a company called Beerhawk, which was like in-home brewing. Got it to like 80 mil rev, sold it to like AB. Like, these are like huge deals. And so there's like a core of us. There's like 5 of us who are the main group, and then there's 20 in the extended network. So I tend to funnel like all my deal flow through that group because there's a bit more of a team around it.
Bit more rigor.
Yeah, because I was just really struggling with like the volume of decks, and which was fine when I wasn't doing 𝗧𝗵𝗲, but 𝗧𝗵𝗲 takes up a lot of time. So I've got a little system for my investments.
I mean, listen, we could talk about decks all day long, to be honest with you. And I think, I personally have been through quite a lot this week. And it's surprising when you talk to founders who are raising cash and you look at what they're doing. And, these people can live in their own heads and they can put something together and then they show it to you. At the Music Foundry, we look at decks all day long. And sometimes we're just like, right, we're going to have to start from the beginning.
But to be fair, it was the same. So for anyone who doesn't know, when I started Museo, I did a startup incubator in Singapore called 𝗏𝑒𝑛trepreneur First. And every Friday, they used to make us get up in front of the other 100 people and pitch our idea. And I swear to God, to this day, there were some people getting up there pitching, and I still don't understand what they were doing. One person got up and they pitched, and I was like, after they got off stage, I was like, it sounds like robots for ATMs, like robots that use ATMs. That can't be right. And anyway, that person clearly did not raise or create a company at all. But I mean, there's just, I don't even know what they were doing, to be honest.
Well, I've been talking the last few days about the importance of storytelling, right?
Right.
Like getting the founder narrative together and getting a crisp, if you can't tell your story in under a minute about...
Do you want an exclusive?
Go on and do it.
So, I am being recorded. So, for that reason, I think I told my friend Brecht last night, but I've actually been invited this year to mentor for the UK Space Agency.
Stop it.
I know. Now, I know what you think.
𝗧𝗵𝗲 in space.
What does Hazel know about space? And I'll be honest, like, not a lot. Is the answer. But that's kind of the point, which
Absolutely.
is like
different
let's
eyes.
just assume that if you're the founder of like a space laser company, you've got the science down, right? Because I can't help you with that. But what I can help is if I come in and you're pitching your space lasers and it's sounding a bit more like robots using ATMs. So I think I'm just purely going in from a narrative perspective, like teaching people how to sell and do what they do.
Right then, I'm just mindful of time. I'm not too sure how much longer we've got left, but one of the final closing questions from me, I'm mindful I keep not keeping talking to the mic. If you look at your very first job and to the job that you're doing today, what have you stayed true to along that journey?
I think I'm exactly the same person. I'd love if someone who's known me that long would disagree. I'd love to know what someone else's perspective, but I was thinking about it the other day. I was thinking, I'm very into sci-fi. I was thinking you could just transport 20-year-old Hazel into 40-year-old Hazel's brain, and I don't think anyone would notice. I think I could do the same job I'm doing now, but maybe that's a little bit wishful thinking. Maybe that's not accurate.
I think you've changed.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, no, we'll talk about that down the wine bar. But since I met you all those years ago, you've been great, as a work colleague and as a friend, and we've always stayed in contact. But you are definitely more aware. To me, you're a lot more aware of the impact that you have on people. Yeah.
I think, do you know what? I think what's weird is I don't feel any different. Yeah. And actually, I did come up with a theory on it as well, because I do speak to a lot of women who... struggle with I'm a big crier. If anyone shouts at me, I will burst into tears. A boss I'm talking about. I've never been very good at those conversations. So we had a no yelling policy at Museo, and that worked great. And now I've instituted that at Syntho as well. Although I'm the boss, why would they yell at me? But my whole thing is I've gone to describing it as almost in Trivial Pursuit, or just think of a pie, and if the whole pie is all of you, all of your sections, what I never wanted to have to do was not be myself. I don't want to have to pretend to be a totally different person to be able to function in a workplace. But what I've realized is, and this is how I visualize it in my own head, is I'm still me, I'm all of me, but there's just a section that I block off if I'm at work, because these people don't get to see that, but also those are the bits that make me vulnerable. So I'm not changing who I am. I'm just in some weird way not bringing my whole self to everything. Because I used to do that in my 20s, and it turns out if you bring your whole self to something and then someone's a massive dick to you, it's really upsetting. Whereas if I come in and I'm you don't get to know that part of me. I'm still me.
Well, that's just, again, it's the road to maturity, isn't it?
Exactly,
The road to maturity. I think that you've always showed up very boldly, very authentically, with quite a few expletives along the way. Always. But what would you say to the next Hazel Savage? What the next ranks that's coming up, the next girl that might feel slightly unsure about where she sits in this world?
You've just got to be a grafter. You've absolutely got to be a grafter. You've got to be always working. And working harder than the next person. Because and also be as good as your word.
Before we turn over to the audience for a few questions, if there was one sentence that you would like to leave behind as your legacy without a swear word in it, what would it be?
It was going to be all swear words. I can't believe that. I feel like it would have to have a swear word in to have impact, but one sentence. Oh, God, I was just going to say, she was a nice person, but that's so trite, isn't it?
Well, she was a kind woman.
Yeah.
Who told it as it is.
She were reet good.
Aye, she were grand, that lass.
Something like that.
I like that. All right. Well, listen, let's turn it over to the audience. Have we got any questions for Hazel? we run out of time? No.
Just ask me
And we had a
outside.
question there.
I'm going to buy you a question.
Okay.
And what I'm going to ask you two, though, is are you going to go for coffee on the river?
I think so, yes.
Are you going to be here tonight?
Gonna
Yes.
be here all
Are
day.
you going to be here tomorrow?
We are.
Yeah.
So there we are then.
Plenty of time for questions.
Lovely. All
Ask
right.
me anything.
Thank you, Hazel.
Thank you so much. That was so fun.
Thank you.